oh, the fucking teenage years are so great, this, and that. It's that freedom and the lack of responsibility, okay? But to say that was for me, I would absolutely never in a million fucking years say that was the best time of my life. Guess what? I also didn't have fucking money to spend, okay? If I wanted to buy something, okay, I had to go fucking jam somebody up, be like, hey, what's up? Can I borrow like $10? Like, you would have to, if you were trying to convince me, like, hey, go relive your teenage years, you would have to pay me a substantial sum of fucking money, and it would have to be the guarantee that it doesn't fuck up everything I have going right now, okay? Like, no, never in a million fucking years would I say that was the best time of my life. Fuck that. This is the best time of my life. Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but yeah, this first comment here. Peaking in high school has never been a flex. Like, it's so true, bro. Casual Exchanges podcast, where most of the time we are going to try to walk through thinking about novel, everyday, normie problems. But the rest of the time, we are going to have to point out when something is completely fucking dumb and brain dead. Okay? This is going to be a lot like those super rare coffee beans that they pull out of, like, elephant shit. Okay, well, sometimes you get those rare coffee beans. Other times, it's just a pile of elephant shit. Welcome in. Okay, I'm so sorry. I was going to start off so productive today, and then I looked down here. In 2010, a black Nigerian couple living in London gave birth to a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby who became known as the Miracle Baby. Okay, the only miracle, okay, is that chick convinced her man that baby is his. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's how we're gonna start this one. Fuck, dude. Okay. Let's get back on track here. Okay. Also, weird. Give me a little feedback here. Have you ever known anybody that had a no hats on in the house rule? I've known people like that. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why the fuck does it matter? But who cares? Give me feedback. Maybe I'm the fucking weird one. Oh yeah. Okay. So this thread right here. Again, I don't think I can highlight these. Nope. Looks like a millennial thread. Already a red flag, I'm not going to lie. Now that we're all removed from our teenage years, do you all feel like saying that the teen years are the best time of your life? Okay. A couple of things on that one. Okay. To be charitable, okay, what are some good things about your teen years, okay? I would say life is relatively simple. You don't have a ton of responsibility yet. Okay, thinking back to my teen years, okay, the biggest things on my mind were, I've already mentioned this, I should stop mentioning this, I played a lot of World of Warcraft, okay, and that's going to seem contrary to the next thing, which is, okay, try to get laid. That's why I didn't tell anybody I played World of Warcraft. And then trying not to get kicked out of high school. That was pretty much everything on my list, I'm not going to lie, okay? So, like, yeah, life was simple. I didn't have a ton of shit, especially thinking about like senior year. Like there was a ton of shit going on like at home and stuff like that. But other than that, like I had no fucking responsibility. Okay, like I didn't have to pay for shit. I didn't have a job yet. There was nothing. Okay, so sure there was the freedom in the sense that like I didn't have any responsibility, but in my opinion there also wasn't like any purpose. Okay, I mean that's why I spent 16 hours a day on fucking World of Warcraft. I had nothing else to do. Okay. So that would be that's me trying to steel man the position of like, oh, the fucking teenage years are so great, this, and that. It's that freedom and the lack of responsibility, okay? But to say that was for me, I would absolutely never in a million fucking years say that was the best time of my life. Guess what? I also didn't have fucking money to spend, okay? If I wanted to buy something, okay, I had to go fucking jam somebody up, be like, hey, what's up? Can I borrow like $10? Okay, like I didn't have money. I also didn't have any means of transportation. So if I wanted to get somewhere, using the good old fashioned flesh wheels. Maybe that sounds a little weird. But actually, like there was no going anywhere. Okay, I remember walking to this chick's house. In like high school, okay, just to show you how committed I was to the game. I walked 4 fucking miles to this chick's house, bro, and I did that shit on a regular basis. Okay, that's how dedicated I was to the game. Now, Jesus, I don't know if I'd make it 4 miles. You just find me fucking sprawled out, heat stroked out on the side of the road. So again, overall, there was just no purpose because there was no responsibility. Okay, like I didn't give a shit about like a 5-year plan. Okay, I didn't have any sort of goals. I didn't have any semblance of what the future kind of would hold or what I wanted to do. So for me, that lack of purpose, really, the I think there's also that lack of freedom where because you don't have money, you don't have means of transportation, you don't have those kinds of things. So it really limits the amount of experience that you're able to kind of engage in. So like, no, I would just, I wouldn't, like, you would have to, if you were trying to convince me, like, hey, go relive your teenage years, you would have to pay me a substantial sum of fucking money. And it would have to be the guarantee that it doesn't fuck up everything I have going right now. Okay. Like, no, never in a million fucking years would I say that was the best time of my life. Fuck that. This is the best time of my life. But obviously, I'm sure Reddit has a much more profound view than me, and I'm going to learn a lot here, okay? So let me just lobotomize myself really quick to get on this level. I saw another question asking why people keep saying that high school and teenage years are the best years of your life. I've definitely heard that said by others, but I've noticed one said it or even believed it. Oh, but I've never once said or even believed it. Have you all thought about saying it or have said it to someone else? Do you believe this sentiment is true? Yeah, yeah. And again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but yeah, this first comment here, peaking in high school has never been a flex. Like, it's so true, bro. I don't know if this is true. There's a difference between best years of our lives and peaked in XYZ. No, I think if you're saying that was the best time of your life, how is that not by definition a peak? In a lot of ways, I'm peaking now, and I'm having the best years of my life. In other ways, college was the best years of my life. Constant socialization, tons of friends around all the time, activities galore, few responsibilities, summer and winter breaks. It's hard not to miss that. Grinding for 40 hours a week for a man isn't fun, but my kids are. Again, no, I mean, again, to be super charitable, I feel like you're looking at all the good things of like these other fucking time periods. Okay? Like, and again, all of these things, again, like constant socialization. You don't have that to some extent with like your job and family. Tons of friends around all the time. Like, okay, but like what level of friends? Okay, was it just like people in and out of your fucking dorm or drinking buddies all the time? I've had periods of my life where like constantly people were around, right? Like I was going to somebody's house fucking to drink like every weekend. Okay, I wouldn't say I was constantly socializing or had a ton of friends. Okay, those were all very shallow. Those were more acquaintanceships, very shallow. The socialization was very shallow. Like by no means. Again, there's a reason I don't do it now. Okay, it's because it didn't bring me much. Activities galore. Like okay, yeah, but like to some extent, again, you try a bunch of new things to broaden your base and then kind of pick out the things you like. Okay, yeah, at some point, once you have a decent grouping of things you like, yeah, you're going to be trying less new things. Okay, so for example, if I probably have time and resources such that I could maintain like three kind of hobbies, three decent hobbies. That's kind of my goal. Okay, and if I felt like probably more like 3 to 5 depending because I guess right now I'm doing like the softball too and right now my time is constrained a little bit more, so I would actually say more like 5, but I really only have 3 to 4 that I'm maintaining, so I have an open slot, you know what I mean, and so I would use that open slot to go out and try new things and see what I want to bring in for my next hobby. But again, I don't think is that to say like, oh, I used to do way more stuff. Well, I used to do way more stuff because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted. Okay, few responsibilities. Again, that's not clear to me that's something I should miss. Summer and winter breaks, sure, like free time is cool. But again, I mean, like depending on your job, like you can get a lot of fucking vacation time. Hard not missing that. Yeah, so again, I just, it feels like he's looking back on some of these times. Not shit on this guy, like I feel like this is actually pretty even tempered. But it's one thing I notice is that it's in these types of conversations is it's real easy to look back at these certain periods of time and only pick out the good things and be like, oh man, I miss being in high school, because I could just fucking smoke weed and goon all day. And it's like, sure, but also like I don't know why I would want to fucking do that now at this day and age. You know what I mean? Like I have other cooler shit that I do. Yeah, there's another thing nobody thinks about. On board 100%. I do not like who I was back then. I conducted myself in a manner current me would detest. I am my best self now. Yeah, there's another thing that I super hardcore agree with. Between the ages of 14 to 20, I was a major shithead. Okay, even today, I'm not gonna lie, bit of a shithead, bit of an asshole. Okay, to some extent, it's just kind of my demeanor, my personality. I'm a little rough around the edges, shall we say? Sometimes. As you can see, I'm sitting here just talking shit on Reddit. But yeah, like there would be so much friction. Like if you put me in another fucking body during that time period and I had to constantly interact with myself, there would be so much fucking friction, almost guaranteed. Um, Without me being able to like straight out tell my younger self like, hey, I'm you from the future, like you should fucking listen to me. Without being able to like directly intervene like that, there's no fucking way. It doesn't matter if I went back as a teacher, as any sort of conventional authority figure. It just would not fucking matter, bro. There was, that was peak levels of just shithead. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. That's how it was. You know what I mean? I'm lucky I didn't get into more trouble. But yeah, no, there's no shot. I would not get along with my younger self. Almost certainly. I missed the young body I had, but I was a fool and my life was chaos. Again, this is kind of a weird one. Like, okay, yeah, like young body and stuff like that. But I also feel like a lot of people, this becomes a thing, a thought that we have because like we don't take care of our bodies. Again, like would I, just to be clear, um, I am way fucking stronger. Like the only thing my younger self, like anywhere 14 to 20 would have, like he's probably faster because he weighs like 130 pounds. Okay, there's a pretty good chance that he would beat me in a foot race. Okay, but if I ever got a hold of that little motherfucker, there's no shot he is ever getting away. Okay, so like, but that's because I've put time and I've developed kind of my body in a specific way that I find useful. You know what I mean? But this could be the case for everybody. If you put time, I would be very interested to see out of my graduating class how many people have actually kept up in some physical sense. You know what I mean? Because I do think that it's a thing where like your, kind of youth just carries you from your 20s to 30s probably. And then people really just start to kind of let themselves go, which again, it's fine. Like if you don't care, but then if you come back and you're like, oh, I miss my young body. It's like, well, you kind of just gave it up. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to miss it. Just recognize the fact that you gave it up. You voluntarily gave it up. Yeah. Extra points if you were a late bloomer and basically a child wearing an adult bodysuit until your late 20s like I was. I'm so jealous of people who came to their senses early in life. Sure. Yeah, well said. I wish I could just forget the entire decade from 13 to 23. Okay. But I'll take the body I had at 20. Again, this is just, yeah, and sure, being able to walk off an injury, like, yeah, okay. Um, like, yeah, there's absolutely some truth to all of this. But again, I would be much more inclined, like, when I probably shouldn't say like pro athletes because I don't follow any sort of like real sports, but when people in strength sports like strongman or something like strongman, we'll take strongman because powerlifting it's a lot more just like fat guys. Um, but if somebody with a really long career like a Brian Shaw type was telling me like yeah I wish I could go back and see like what I could do with 25 to 30-year-old body, like yeah, okay, because he actually like his breakdown, deterioration, all that stuff is due to a lifetime of fucking abuse, putting his body through the fucking meat grinder. And so, yeah, now he's a little bit beat up. Not people who, you know, just fucking subscribe to the fucking Cheeto diet for 20 years and now they're like, fuck, man, my body sucks. Like, it's okay. The only thing I miss about my teen years is all the friends I saw on a daily basis. My adult years have been significantly better. Sure. Um, Again, this is just like I think there. I feel like there's this thing we have in our head where we just think like, oh man, I was just so social back then. But it was like it was out of necessity. It's the same thing we do now, where every day you see people at your job. That was the same thing that school was. Okay, like we saw each other every day because of school. Okay. And I know this because as soon as I got out of school, I never talked to any of those motherfuckers again. Okay, so clearly we were not fucking thick as thieves. You know what I mean? This isn't to shit on anybody. But again, this idea that like, oh, I just had so many friends when I was young. It's like again, they were just very surface level relationships, and you guys were just in the same place a lot of the time. Okay, I wouldn't consider that like, oh, I had all these fucking ride or die soldiers that were just fucking ready to fucking drop everything, and come help me no matter what. It's like no, that probably wasn't the case. Again, I want to be charitable to Mad Grapes here, okay? Because again, he recognizes my adult years have been way better, so I want to give kudos. But I keep running into this idea that like, oh, my teen years was just so filled with fucking friends and good vibes and love and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sure. Early 20s were better for me. That's kind of weird. Because again, you early 20s, not to be mean, we're all still kind of shitheads. We're still trying to figure stuff out. We have almost no fucking life experience. We have no idea what we're doing. And a lot of times around that age, we're just going to spend a lot of time drinking with friends. Jesus, some of these are TLDR. I'm not gonna lie. If you've been watching this long, you know I can't fucking read for shit. I think that the idea, high school years being the best, were from the post-war years. They leave high school and go directly into the factory of the mind. Class and homework look a lot better after a few years doing 40 plus every week in those jobs. Yeah, or they would just go straight into the military. Like my great grandpa went off to World War II, like literally, like fucking not even 20 years old. Absolutely not. 20s were pretty good. 30s were an absolute blast. About to enter my 40s. Good for you, buddy. Oh, interesting. Let's see. No, I had very little autonomy as my parents were on the stricter side. Yep. I didn't mind not going out to party. I was never that kid. But when I asked to join other extracurricular activities, they usually said no. They couldn't take me and wouldn't dream of letting me use public transit. I was also under a lot of pressure to do well academically, and when I didn't perform up to par, the punishment was generally being yelled at, followed by being ignored for several days beyond basic needs. Yeah, there's another thing I wasn't going to get into, but like, again, dude, why can't I get this thing straight on my fucking head, bro? Yeah, it's another thing. Like, I would not. Okay, first I'm going to say, going back to the idea that like now I have a lot more freedom by way of resources. Like I actually have money, I actually have means of transportation, I have means to enable the things that I want to do. Okay, and I have nobody telling me what to do, where to go. Okay, to a very large extent. Now the immediate fucking thing off people on the internet is going to be like, well, you have a boss, well, you have a fiance, well, you know, the fucking government or some shit like that. Okay, just to be clear, if I was in a situation where my boss told me every single thing I had to do, okay, I wouldn't be working there. Fuck you. Okay, same thing with my fiance. Okay, if she was just fucking scheduling everything out and controlling everything I did, wouldn't be a fucking relationship that I'd ever be in. Okay, so fuck you twice. Okay, no, I have these people, okay, that I'm in some sort of relationship with, that I collaborate with, and I make sure that things are heading in a general direction, okay? They do not fucking micromanage me, okay? Like my parents did when I was a teenager, okay? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And I don't know, if somebody is micromanaging you like that, you need to reevaluate some shit, okay? Because no, now, for the most part, I get to do things that I want to do, okay? If I want to go to the range, if I'm going to work out, if I'm going to go hang out with my buddy out, you know, and drive a ways to get to him, like, okay, I, you know, take the day off. I shoot a text. I ask my girl, like, hey, what are we doing? You know, when can I schedule this? Stuff like that. No, it is not the case where if my parents were just pissed that day, they'd be like, no, you can't do anything. So we're going to clean up the house or some shit like that. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen anymore. All right, fuck you. Again, okay. Maybe this is the last one. I kind of want to find another good vibes one. I heard more people say college was the best time of your life. Either way, I don't think either of them are true. Life is what you make it, and people who look back at high school or college as if it was the peak, it's just a sad thought. Yeah, absolutely based. Again, like, I didn't do a ton of college. I dropped out. I'm not gonna lie. But again, even then, I didn't have means of transportation. I had almost no fucking money. So it was like I would have to, on some days, I would have to walk to the JC I went to, which was like 4 miles, and then I would have to take the shuttle to the other campus because there were split campuses. So sometimes I had class on one, sometimes I had class on the other. So depending, again, it wasn't like super fun. And again, it was all right for anybody who goes to college and goes through that and does that shit. Good for you, bud. I hope you had fun. For me, it was very short lived. I knew it wasn't going to be. It just wasn't the way I was going to go. I wanted to try some other shit. I already knew I didn't like school, so it was real easy for me to figure to kind of reinforce that one. But again, yeah, I think again, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking back at these time periods and being like, "Huh, yeah, that was cool," or "Yeah, that was fun." You know what I mean? But I do think this idea that like, "Oh man, I wish, you know, I wish I was fucking back there. I wish I was doing that again." You know what I mean? It's like, that would be kind of weird. And that would maybe, for me, be a little bit of a red flag that like, hey, maybe I need to reevaluate what's going on right now. Because realistically, if I'm 30, just to give you an example, if I was, again, in those situations where I felt I was being micromanaged when I was like the same way, like when I was 17 or 16, I would find that weird and bad. And there have been periods where I did work at a kind of job like that, or I was in a kind of relationship like that. And it was very quickly like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm not a fucking child. I'm an adult. At the end of the day, I can kind of do what I want. So fuck you. I'll just find a new job. Or fuck you. You know, get out of my house. I'm gonna find some other chick. No offense. I've actually been with my fiance many years. So that hasn't been the case for a while. But again, for me, it would just be food for thought that like, hey, maybe I need to reevaluate some stuff because I'm still young enough to where these should be the best times of my life. Honestly, I have capital. I have the means. You know, to kind of spend and do things and enable experiences that I want. So if I'm not enjoying it, you know, what's the deal? I don't know. Let me know what you think. And that's all, folks. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That way you can talk shit on my next video too, all right? Have fun. Let's try to do this again sometime.